Hey guys! A few weeks ago, we looked at a movie starring the late Pat Morita, Earth Minus Zero. And today, we're going to take a look at another film that he probably didn't put on his resume. I give you, and I swear I'm not making this up, The Karate Dog. I am dead serious. One of Pat Morita's final movies is called The Karate Dog. And as if that wasn't embarrassing enough, it was also directed by Bob Clark. Don't recognize that name? This was the guy who brought us the timeless holiday classic, A Christmas Story. I guess ruining his reputation as a great filmmaker with baby geniuses just wasn't enough. Before we begin, I want to point out that the DVD collection in which I found this movie got the title wrong on its menu screen, calling it Karate Dogs plural as opposed to The Karate Dog. When you can't even get the DVD to present the movie properly, you know we're in trouble. Our movie begins with Chin Lee, played by Pat Morita, sneaking around TGRI Labs where he steals a canister of mutagenic ooze that he'll no doubt slosh onto his 4 pet turtles. Or maybe he uses it to create the first Mogwai, I don't know.
Why can I never find my glasses?
I'll get them. Here you go, boss.
Thank you. And I thought I was the one supposed to take care of you, Don't speak. Remember all that I taught you, Jojo. Words are precious. Use them only for truth.
Spoiler alert, the dog never shuts up. And he's voiced by Chevy Chase. Sounds like a winning combination to me. And you might be asking yourself how the dog can talk. Oh, don't worry. The disappointing answer will reveal itself soon enough. Lee is then attacked by some assassins, led by a guy who can only move his mouth by holding down a button on his mask, not unlike the head-mounted flashlights from Ghost Trap, and they start to take him down. But then his dog Chocho shows up and beats up every one of them. Yeah, I knew that a movie called The Karate Dog must have a dog who knows karate in it, and it's almost a sure thing that it's gonna be ridiculous, but how do you prepare for something this stupid? You can't! By the way, until we get to the movie's climax, this is the only scene in which Chocho shows off his karate expertise. So then why is this movie called The Karate Dog? Because the alternate title, Dog Doing Things That Dogs Don't Normally Do, doesn't roll off the tongue very well. The assassins kill Lee and make off with the ooze, and he says his parting words to Chocho.
Remember to protect the dogs. Speak only to one who seeks the truth. I love you, dear friend.
Yeah, great. You go through all the trouble of getting Pat frickin' Morita into your movie, and you kill him off in the first 6 minutes. Because that's what you do with your headliners, right? The cops arrive on the scene after the assassins leave, and we meet Detective Fowler, who utilizes this program called Collar. Get it? It's a dog reference! To do all of his work. No, I'm not kidding. He uses it for everything. He uses it to analyze crime scenes without giving it any kind of data. He uses it to control his home. He can even use it to hack security locks just by waving it vaguely in its direction. He's also planning on equipping his entire department with this thing. So yeah, these cops will soon be able to effortlessly break into any building in the city on a whim. Nothing illegal about that. Oh, and take a look at how Fowler turns it on.
Peter Fowler, caller code Cougar.
Oh, I was just making it, user-friendly.
He turns on the computer by saying the word Cougar, and when it starts up, it moans using the voice of Tank Girl. And what's a poorly made kids movie with a bunch of inappropriate adult jokes? Must be a Bob show! After taking a moment to flirt with this lady cop who's way out of his league, and we already know that she's going to be banging him at the end for no reason, so what's the point of even establishing her as a real character? Chocho somehow sneaks into his car with no one noticing, and they both go home to his ridiculously huge boatyard turned mansion. Because an underappreciated tech head can really afford this kind of living, I guess.
Okay, I'm gonna talk now. Whatever you do, try to remain calm.
No. The appropriate response to that is, ah! Get away from me, devil!
Good God. Hey, watch it, pal. I don't know you well enough yet. As far as you're concerned, I'm neutered.
Ew! Chocho explains that he's looking for his master's killer, and Fowler here is the only one who can help him. Why? Because he's the only cop in the entire force who's actively seeking the truth. even though Cho-Cho's never met a single cop in his life as far as we know, so how could he possibly reach this conclusion?
Dogs talk dog talk, horses talk horse talk, aardvarks talk, oddly enough they talk German. Nah, I'm just kidding. Hey, you get the idea.
No, I don't! That didn't explain anything!
Could it be Satan?
Feller agrees to take on the case, which of course means that Cho-Cho gets to have complete run of the house. Yeah, sorry, but even if we ignore how the power of speech does not instantly grant upright mobility and opposable thumbs, you're still a dog and a guest in this guy's home. This isn't the best way to make him want to help you.
Come on, partner, let's round up some perps.
There's no way I'm taking you to the station with me, okay?
Okay, fine, I'll just stay here and pee on your rug. You don't think slobber will hurt this computer stuff, do you?
Oh good! Despite being a creature of higher intelligence, he threatens to chew up and pee on Fowler's stuff just out of spite. I love following protagonists who are assholes. Anyway, they cross the Golden Gate Bridge to get to Fowler's precinct. Oh wow, we're gonna cross the bridge. I've never gone across the bridge before. Wait, what are you doing? Ah! And he takes Cho-Cho into an interrogation room so he can ask him some questions. But in typical talking animal movie tradition, the dog conveniently shuts up so that everyone thinks that the main character is crazy. Why?
Well, I may be a dog, but that doesn't mean I can't smell a rat. I told you I could only speak to the man who seeks the truth.
You know, if this was a good movie, they could have shown the dog listening in onto the conversations of several cops on his way to the interrogation room, and from that he could determine whether or not these cops were worthy of being trusted with his information. But since this is a bad movie, he's just pulling this right out of his ass. So yeah, because Cho-Cho can only talk to the man seeking the truth, he's severely limiting his chances of finding Lee's killer. Nice move, dumbass. And in case you were wondering, yes, that's Gary Chalk playing the chief. I swear, I'm not doing this on purpose. Why does he keep showing up in my reviews?
You'd be in charge of the command center, and I'd be in charge of you.
Rat Trap, you're in charge.
Cho-Cho thinks that they should look for some clues at the dog track where Lee used to work, and after another bit of flirting with Blondie McHotCop, we then get this weird exchange.
So, what, we going home?
Nope, we're going to races.
Oh, that's great.
What?
Dog asks you to get on the case and nothing. But some tootsie bats her eyelashes and zippity-doo-dah, you're Dirty Harry.
Going to the races was your idea. What does she have to do with it? And how does this make him into Dirty Harry? So they go to the tracks where they meet Lee's former employer, played by Jon Voight. And for some reason he sounds like Christopher Walken doing a bad W impression.
And I suppose I should tell you a little tiny something about myself.
I have an entire kennel of racing dogs living in my eyebrows. And for some reason this dog has a southern accent too. Does San Francisco have a big southern community I've just never heard of?
But you look like a dog who appreciates a woman with a little spoon.
I refer you to my previous ew. Anyway, we get some bullcrap exposition about how Jon Voight was raised in the Far East, and on top of running the dog track, he also runs a pharmaceutical company that is in no way doing anything illegal whatsoever. Seriously, the only way that this guy's role as the villain could be more obvious is if he had the word villain tattooed across his forehead. After finding nothing during the investigation, Cho-Cho recognizes the killer and chases after him in hot pursuit. And because this dog knowing how to drive isn't stupid enough, he drives for God knows how many miles instead of just following the perp. Now that Fowler's car is completely totaled, he leaves Cho-Cho to fend for himself. Cho-Cho sets up Fowler on a date with Blondie. My god, this movie's so lazy it doesn't even try to give us the cliched dialogue of Fowler being angry at Cho-Cho, then Cho-Cho saying something endearing to get him back on his side. You know they can't part ways yet, so why even bother showing that that might happen? Speaking of cliches, of course we have to get the bit where Fowler is just too nervous to talk to her, so Cho-Cho is telling him what he should say, but it doesn't go quite as planned.
My heart feels so close to yours. I just want to howl at the moon.
I'm not sure if this new you is seducing me or scaring me.
What is an incredible dog like
You doing in a joint like this? No. What? Ashley,
Excuse me?
Oh no! Cho-Cho made Fowler say something awkward and uncomfortable! Well, I never! But they patch things up and continue on their date, as Cho-Cho and that stereotypical French poodle do the same because she's a poodle. She kinda has to be the love interest, doesn't she? He takes her back to his place to grab some tail, But Chocho beat him to the punch by inviting every dog in the neighborhood over to have a party. Look, I know we need to get in as many scenes of dogs doing people things as possible, but wasn't Chocho supposed to be trying to bring his owner's killer to justice? How is this helping the cause? Through the sheer miracle of plot convenience, Chocho apparently heard through the grapevine that the dogs at the tracks had been eating this enhanced dog food that Jon Voight made, which makes them run unnaturally fast. And is there any reason he couldn't find out about this when he was actually at the dog tracks? They sneak into Voight's laboratory to get more evidence, which won't be admissible in court since he's acquiring it illegally, and they conveniently bump into Voight expositing that he's been taking the formula he's been giving his dogs, which is giving him enhanced strength and agility, and is even reversing the aging process. Great, this movie about dogs decided to rip off the plot from the Catwoman movie. They get the evidence of Voight's, wrongdoing back to the Force, but they somehow uploaded a virus that wipes out the precinct's entire computer network. One would think that this kind of cyber-terrorism would be enough to bring every cop down around him, but that might actually make some kind of sense, so they just ignore how their entire system is down and send Fowler home all sad and stuff. Blondie shows up to get him all motivated again, because she has to be supportive even though she has no reason to be supportive, and he goes back to illegally acquire some more evidence. He grabs a spare canister of booze, and Chocho makes the shocking discovery that the drug the dogs have been taking actually make them age rapidly. And if Chocho actually spent some time building a relationship with this dog instead of going around partying and chasing after every random poodle he could find, this might actually be kind of sad. So yes, it turns out that this super drug that Voight's been developing is actually deadly, and Chin Lee was trying to stop it from being produced. Voight calls the cops about there being an intruder on the premises, and they demand that Fowler surrender his gun and his badge.
My mom has my gun. My mom has my gun.
Really, movie? It wasn't enough to make this guy a bumbling idiot. You have to turn him into a simpering mama's boy, too? Are you trying to make us hate him? They take Chocho and lock him in a kennel with a bunch of other dogs, where no one seems to question why there's a bunch of writing inside their cells. And I think they're trying to make this heartbreaking like the scene from Lady and the Tramp, but where that movie had sorrowful music and some of the saddest animals ever committed to film, this movie shows us how some of the animals can easily just walk out of their cells. They went with this take, people! Anyway, Fowler shows up with a poorly superimposed English Terrier to scare off the guard, because he just always had a giant monster English Terrier on standby, I guess, and he and Chocho and the rest of the dogs break into the press conference where Voight is launching his new drug. He and Chocho eventually make their way up onto the roof, where they have a big epic fight scene. And by big and epic, I mean ridiculous and stupid like that cow fight from Kung Pao Enter the Fist. And I'm pretty sure we're supposed to be taking this fight seriously. And instead of doing the logical thing and having Voight die from the side effects of this allegedly lethal drug he's been using on himself, he just gets electrocuted. Behold the folly of man's hubris. So Voight's defeated, Fowler and Chocho are lauded as heroes, and they throw another big party at his place, where, of course, no one questions how the flying f*** there are a bunch of dogs and cats playing in a rock band. So that was The Karate Dog, and you don't need me to tell you that it sucks. You know when you look back at the earlier works of one of your favorite directors, and you can't help but smirk at them when you compare them to what they're making now? This movie is the opposite of that. Instead of laughing at how clunky this earlier film is, you're cringing at how outright terrible it is because you know that this director has done better. The story is crap, the premise is stupid, the acting is rushed, they throw in every cliche you can imagine, the villain's a joke, and worst of all, the dog is annoying and never shuts up. A movie can suffer through a lot of bad elements and still be tolerable, but if the main character makes it this much of a chore to endure, that is simply unforgivable. And with that, it's time to give this movie what it deserves. Tommy Kirk, would you do the honors? You did what you had to do, son. See you later.
Yeah, this is the Big Bopper speaking.
Oh, you sweet thing. Do I what? Will I what? Oh, baby, you know what I like. Chantilly lace had a pretty face and a ponytail hanging down.
I couldn't tell you, I promised him.
Giggle and talk, Lord. Make the world go round, round, round. Ain't nothing in the world like a big-eyed girl to make me act so funny, make me spend my money, make me feel real loose like a long-necked goose, like a girl. Oh, baby, it's what I like. What's that, baby? But, oh, honey. But, oh, baby, you know what I like. Chantilly lace had a pretty face and a ponytail hanging down. The wiggle and the walk and the giggle and the talk. Lord, make the world go round. Ain't nothing in the world like a big-eyed girl to make me act so funny, make me spend my money, make me feel real loose like a long-necked goose, like a, oh baby, it's what I like. All right.
What? Never saw guys taking a leak before?
Freaks.